In this video I'm going to show you what the flow rim looks like after about 1500 miles of use, and this includes hilly miles, and it's about time to change the brake pads. This is the front brake and front rim that you're looking at. I mounted a 25C zip tubeless tire on the front, and I used some Stan's rim tape. I initially used the 25mm rim tape for the internal width of 18 millimeters. It was a little too wide, so now I'm at 21mm rim tape, and the tire seated on pretty well. Here's a close look at the brake track, and already you can see that there's a little bit of grooving into the rim. And again, this is with about 1500 miles on the rim, and it's pretty consistent like this. I built these own rims, so I'm not comparing the hubs or the spokes because I chose my own, and it's not the actual wheels purchased in whole from Flow. Their stickers are still here where you're supposed to put the brake pads underneath that. So here's a look at the rear rim. This part right here looks brand new because I put the brake pads underneath this. If you could hear, this is smooth, and here kind of a little grooves into the rear brake track. On the rear I have this Continental GP4000 S2 tire, and it's been doing real well with the combination of this Flow 60 carbon clincher rear rim. And as I spin this, you can see that I'm going to come up on the sticker that says please apply the brake pads below this line. Looking at the rear brakes, it also appears that it's about time to replace the rear too. Let's take a look at the front once more. Here's another look at the front brake. As you can tell, it's almost definitely time to replace the front pads. Both sides of this front brakes are equally ready to be replaced. Here's a look at the old brake pads versus the new ones. The old ones are still inside the caliper housing, and the new ones are about to be installed. I would like to mention that these Flow carbon clincher rims offer one of the best carbon braking surfaces that I've used so far. One of the downsides is, in my experience, is that these brakes just squeal a little bit now. Almost as if these were exact Shimano OEM brake pads. They slide in real easily. Just in and out real easily, so they fit in real good. Almost perfectly matched for these Shimano brake calipers. So even looking at the rims from a little further back, you could still tell that there are little grooves from the braking. And again, this is about 1500 miles of semi-hilly riding. I'm not super heavy. I'm about 152 pounds, so I'm not the lightest rider, not the heaviest rider. I think if you weigh a little bit more, you may, and you brake a lot, you may put a little more grooves into the brake track, but I'm not sure. Paired up with these Ultegra 8000 brake calipers, the stopping power is real good. In the wet, these wheels probably take at least a revolution or two before the water shut off. Then the braking is still pretty good. Maybe not as strong as the aluminum clinchers I have, but I haven't been in too many rainstorms to get a full assumption. I've ridden in 20 to 30 mile an hour crosswinds, and I do get pushed around a little bit, but not so bad. I mean, it's still manageable, but I have to have both of my hands on the bars for sure. Paired up to the 62mm depth carbon clincher rims, These are 80 millimeter silica tubeless valves. So I got the silica tubeless valve kit, 80 millimeters, and I'm using that in conjunction with the Zip Tangenti tubeless 25 millimeter tire. Oh, I noticed it was a little dirty, so I just got some wax and cleaned it up a little bit. Running these tires tubeless has been pretty successful. I've been maintaining about 80 to 90 psi, and they're holding pressure almost as good as a butyl tube, so they don't lose that much pressure like a latex tube will if you had the experience of those. So if you run a butyl tube, it loses maybe a few to several psi overnight depending what pressure you set it at, but not too much at all. So actually the tubeless setup is real good. Overall, I'm very happy with the rims. I wanted to order another set, but unfortunately I called Flo and I spoke to Chris or John, who actually picked up the phone, which is surprising. So I'm real happy with their customer service and customer support. And unfortunately, John or Chris mentioned that the rims themselves are discontinued. So if you're looking for the answer if I would buy another pair of rims, the answer was yes, and I tried and I couldn't. I was trying to buy a 24, 28 hole set of rims to build up another set of clincher wheel set, but unfortunately I couldn't. So maybe I'll be looking for another company soon to buy rims. So if you have any questions or comments regarding these Flow rims, please leave them in the comments below, and feel free to subscribe if you like to. And thanks for watching them.